Okay, so this was a build around submission for Viktor plus Atrocity. And one of the reasons why this pairing seems neat is Viktor and Ballistic Bot specifically often have this issue where they get really big attack power off of their augment, but then you have a tough time, sneaking them into your opponent's nexus to drag yourself across the finish line. And Atrocity is a way to kind of work around that. So that locked in which two regions I was playing, but I had freedom to build the deck outside of those restrictions. And I was poking around on Mobalytics, and I saw a Go Hard variation that was playing Hexacore and Rummages that seemed interesting. So I'm Go Hard, obviously, pack your bags, needs no introduction here, but instead of using Twisted Fate and Salvage to power ourselves back into it, we're leveraging Rummage and Hexacore Foundry. So one of the things I'm going to want to be thinking about, this is definitely going to be a deck where when we play it, not just our results are going to be important, but we're going to want to think about how often is Go Hard and Pack the Bags winning us the game versus how often is Atrocity actually meaningful in terms of helping us close games out that we wouldn't win otherwise. So that's the really key takeaway I'm going to be looking to think about from the games in this set is, was Atrocity practical with Viktor and Bot, or was it just extraneous and not necessarily useful? So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this and see how it feels. Yes, the created Go Hards technically trigger Augment as well. So there's technically synergy there with those two, with that pairing. I believe daily challenges are random. JD Gentleman, thanks for the follow. Welcome, welcome. I am blessed with a pile of wild cards from Riot, so I mostly just ignore my dailies. Hey, howdy, Twin Sons. There is Zoe deck, so I full mulliganed there looking for a way to murder her on one. And we found one. So, like, our deck has 6 ways to murder Zoe on one. Pretty good probability that we find one if we mulligan.
I am superior life form.
I am the superior life form. I'm gonna attack here because if they block, my Mach 2 kills their bot, so I think this is a free point of damage.
Can you improve perfection?
You got Go Hards for Unspeakable Horror? That's interesting. I don't know. Go Hard Pack Your Bags is real good. I feel like if I were to get rid of anything, it would probably be... I'm not convinced that Hexacore Foundry is actually good. Like, this effect is probably enough to find our way back to the cards we want to find our way back to. Honestly, I think I'm just taking this pass here. Banking spell mana sounds fine.
Join the glorious evolution. The flashbacks will bow, great maker.
They're Heimer Zoe? Yeah. Am I ignitioning to pump these up? I think I am. I think I want to hold the Rummage. I'm going to get 2 created cards next turn, and we'll probably Rummage through those.
Do the gun show. System upgrade.
I could be right to play this too, honestly. Get the deal 3 shuffled into my deck and my top few cards. This also triggers my augments here, which is nice. So what happens after your vault is past 13? It still technically levels up a small amount, but not a ton. Start with this and see what they do. It's pretty important that we kill Zoe this turn. Oh, I guess that was actually wrong because I'm an Ezreal deck. If I would have waited if I would have waited for the static to resolve first, I would have gotten an extra trigger on Ezreal, right? It's a small mistake there on my part.
Yeah, that's a pretty sparkle.
I think we get Viktor charging up here. We can hit Spell Shield. That'd be real good against the control deck. Fury's on the lower end of keywords that we're interested in. Sure. We got him. And I think with that silence, I just go ahead and block here.
Another brilliant design. Metal is perfection. Energy core upgrade.
Yeah, I agree, Pressmic. I put the Scouts game in the highlight. I agree that set was real good.
System upgrade.
We probably sit on the Mach 3 here until they drop a Heimer. Well, I guess I have Aftershock to kill that too. Quick attack was a good roll. Agree. I think I'm doing this at this point. Could go either way though. They have mushrooms. No, you missed a deck. We played Zoe Draven aggro yesterday. And it was very good.
Clumsy design. Yes, of course.
They have Aftermath, Aftershock for a, what's it called? Sure. I'm gonna do this because we could hit a Mystic Shot to kill this. I mean, the cards Death Ray is creating in your deck are pretty reasonable cards. That's why you play it. So if Death Ray was creating cards I didn't want to be drawing, we wouldn't play it. It was like the TLDR. And my mistake earlier is a big deal. I missed out on a point. This could be leveled already if I had played better. Good morning, chat. Does anybody here know about cooking? I mean, Twitch chat has a lot of doctor, lawyer, astronauts. I'm pretty sure there's some cooks in the mix, too.
Sounds dangerous. I'm in. Ooh, that's gotta hurt.
It's tough to be a space chef, but I get by. Arino, thanks for the follow. So, as a heads up, like, all of the deck lists in the stream title are the decks I still intend to play today and the order in which I intend to play them. So, as I play decks, I remove them from the stream title.
I am superior life form.
We tend to be very organized around here so folks can know what to expect. We don't just fly by the seat of our pants and figure out what we're doing as we go. A little bit of flexibility at the end, but first few decks are always lined up. We'll either end on extra Runeterra or more, or some Witcher 3, depending on what metrics look like. Here's a backup Ezreal. It's not terrible. I'm gonna Mystic Shot this one and Grasp this one. I'm grasping here because it plays around Pale Cascade. If they have something like Bastion, we'll Mystic Shot it with the Ezreal's Mystic Shot. They could definitely be a Bastion deck. It's good at protecting both of these must-answer threats. Do I still gain 3? I do not. Alright. Attempt this. And Ezreal just starts murdering them as we go. Now, worth noting here that Ezreal shooting them is not a skill. So Funsmith does not make Ezreal do extra, right? I'm pretty sure skills involve the skill circle. One shot, one opportunity.
Inferior design.
Read.
No way.
Give me a weapon, I'll give it firepower.
I'll give it firepower.
Behold meow.
Meow. Man, Ignition with Bunsmith is kind of gasoline, huh? There could have been merit to playing this pre-combat to get an extra elusive damage, potentially.
Is obsolete. System upgrade. Safety disengaged.
This gains us extra life with Bunsmith too, which is great since it's a drain. Black Samson, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Adding it to the bug list. Poor Heimer, I feel you. Alright, so am I just eating this quick attack here? I think so.
Join the glorious evolution.
The glorious evolution. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Victor's evolving through ya. I feel like I could get burned out here if I don't block. How greedy is no blocks here? It might be greedy. I'm gonna do it anyways, so we get to level Viktor and do a bunch of stuff here. They burned 2 Mystic. That's true. That's true. They have played 2 Mystic Shots already. It's a good observation.
Join to live.
If you want to live. Bump Twisted Diana. Sounds good, Ironclad. I'll get that done after the stream's done today. It's a good reminder to folks that watch regularly, those channel points you collect up, you can utilize to bump decks in the queue, move them up, down, and all around.
I'm ready. Hey, take it to the gun show. Can you improve perfection?
Alright, so they're dead.
Claws out.
Do I accept money for gauntlets? If so, how much? I'm not a big fan of singleton, but yeah, you can submit a gauntlet as just a normal submission, Thom. With the asterisk that it only gets played when the gauntlet's available, obviously, and when it's at the top of the queue. Treno, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. But yeah, if you have like a pick ban lineup you want to submit for next time pick ban comes back around, I believe this upcoming weekend is going to be singleton. So the following would be pick ban again. Yeah, I enjoy the pick ban format. Diamond is higher than platinum. Anubis, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Good morning. Almost afternoon to the cornfields, getting close. Connecting. All right, scout it out, chat. What's the minnow emote for? There are 3 fish emotes depending on what tier sub you are on the channel. We have minnows for the baby subs. We have dolphins for the medium-sized subs, and we have whales for the big subs. You also get a different whale emote. There's 2 whale emotes you can capture if you want to whale hunt in Hoaglandia. There is a whale for tier 3 subs, and there is a whale for if you've cheered $100 worth of bits. That's true. That's true. That's true. There is technically a 3rd whale that has a dollar symbol for its money spout, but not many people have that one. That one's for the largest marine mammals in Hoaglandia. Nobody wants to play against our Viktor deck, chat. Come on, ladder. Deck confirmed tier 0. Watch out, go hard, Twisted Fate, go hard, Ezreal, Viktor's coming for you. Honestly, I think I'm mulliganing the whale, but we're keeping these other 3 against discard aggro. I mean, 4 of the top 6 decks on Mobilytics based on win rates and play rate are aggressive decks. Skip dash.
Time for the mix.
So like aggro is super playable in this format. Oh, and the connect takes that long, and the opponent DC'd. It means the opponent DC'd and is actually starting. Okay, that makes sense.
The sun's out, the crowd's ready. Let's rock it!
So we'll get to Bang Spell Mana this turn. I think Death Beam's fine. It offers you utility in matchups like this. And I think with things like Rummage, especially in places where the follow-ups are not good, you can just loop through it. Makes it not a big deal.
Someone get 'em up!
So I think I'm actually going to go ahead and Death Ray this here. My opponent's archetype is a crowd favorite deck, so keeping their board small is very, very valuable. Got to get that next bit badge. Can you put this towards the next pick ban? Any Zoe deck, Frel Alliance, any Plaza. If you want to wait for best of 3, that's fine too. Sounds good, Thumb. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. That's super generous. And hopefully we draw a deal 2 here, because there's a couple of them. Perfect. So this murders this. And then we'll have a deal 3 rolled up for something like Draven.
It's Draven, the glorious executioner!
Rain the money!
Got access.
Yeah, Death Ray is very, very good here for sure. Taking a little bit of a hit here, but not too bad. Happison, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, killing Battlecaster and keeping their board small here tends to be very key. Like, if I draw a deal 3 next turn, it might honestly be right to kill this with the deal 3 before we play the Viktor, even though that misses us an augment because of the potential for crowd favorite. That's only a Mach 2, right? It's unfortunate.
Following the glorious evolution.
Yeah, the fact that Death Ray triple levels Ezreal as you draw it too is also quite good.
Time for the moneymakers.
Alright, and then this is a crowd favorite, right? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and Death Ray this. And then this means that if I hit the deal 3, we can kill this before it hits us next turn. And with the Rummage, we're guaranteed to find it, right?
Watch and learn. Got access. Need fixed.
So if we're a little bit fortunate here, we're gonna find both of them.
Metal is perfection.
Do they have a Save Your Strongest Thing card here? That would be bad for us. They do not.
Now we're cooking.
Is their last card Jinx is the second question. These animations are so good. give him the claw.
I'll give you 2 counts of spikes up. Jinx stands for Jinx. Durr.
Ingenious.
Now it's a party.
I can hear that eye roll. Yeah, it's not a good beat for us.
Genius in action.
Pretty unfortunate. What a shit take from Stumbles in chat. Now we see why Death Ray is bad. Why? Because the card lined up perfectly, but their final card was exactly the one card that gets them out of this situation. So you're gonna call my card bad because in this one situation it wasn't perfect? It's not like being locked. Death Ray's actually really good to draw here because it's going to kill this. Yeah, like that might it's such a lazy take. It's literally the only reason we're still alive. Like their start was very good this game. And I get it that Death Ray might not be enough to beat their very good start out of the aggro deck. That doesn't mean it's bad. If you evaluate all of your cards based on when your opponent has their best possible combination of cards, most cards in most card games suck. Let's see if they can make a rocket here. If this is either of these is a get excited, we're dead, but you know, those are the beats. Yep. And like, you know, it's not we're actually not dead to everything. We're dead to get excited. Get excited and rummage were the cards that killed us there. But like, had that not been a get excited or a rummage, we have 2 shots to roll lifesteal on Viktor, and like we would have been in this game. Yeah, like my opponent's draw was very good, and my deck still had play and agency, and it was a close game. If we just run a little bit better on this last turn, there's a good chance we pull out of it. Yeah, like, and that's how it goes, right? Like, there's gonna be games in card games where you just die and you didn't have any other decisions you could make. It doesn't mean you played poorly or your deck was built poorly. It's worth reflecting on your choices that you made. So I'm thinking about if there were things we could have done differently, but I think I'm pretty happy with the lines I took that game. If anything, that game makes me like Death Ray more than anything. Yeah, Rummage is great with Death Ray. Big agree. Death Ray could be sweet and easy karma. Yeah, I could see that. Could definitely see that. Mystic Shot to stay alive early sounds great. Grasp buff for life total sounds fine. I don't know if this is really a matchup I need Funsmith in. These kill most of their things as is to start. Sure, they're marginally more likely to have Get Excited there, Quaddle, but like it's still very fortunate to have that many in that exact combination too, right? Like they had Jinx at the very end of their hand and then into running Get Exciteds. So having that sequence on top of the very aggressive start that they had is very reasonable. The King Kojo, in general, I know it's a Twitch chat thing. I'm gonna delete your message for now, but like spamming random Keck W's in my chat isn't something that we do here. Please and thank you. I think we might be packing our bags early, chat. Sure, but like that last game, and that's a player agency decision though too, Blunderbottle. You can choose not to play your Death Rays when you don't want to draw more of them. But like that last game, I wanted to draw more of them. It was actively good to be drawing them there.
I'm always up for a round or two. Something for all.
Maybe playing Niandroid as a snake, like if you pass, the opponent passes, you're better off. Can you explain why? So Vorpal, that's actually a good discussion. My opponent passed and I passed, we'd both be burning mana. Can you explain to me why you think my deck is favored against my opponent's deck if this game goes long? Because I haven't played this matchup, so I don't know if taking the pass is correct there. My gut instinct is that my opponent's deck with Ledros in it likely means that they're favored as the game goes long, and I want to be proactive and end the game. So burning mana when you're at board parity favors the person who is ahead as the game goes long, and I don't think I'm ahead as the game goes long here. Maybe we are, but I don't, that's not what my gut says. I would be surprised if that was the case. I think I'm gonna whale into Deathray here.
Through the coral.
Kyr, thanks for the follow, welcome. Yeah, the same is true of them though as well, right? Like I also have Pack the Bags, and none of their things survive Pack either.
Ingenious. Erase frailty.
Now, unfortunately, they had a bunch of packs early on. I could be playing with fire with this Twisted Fate here too. I have this Ezreal's Mystic Shot though, so even if they pack my bags here, we'll Mystic Shot this in response. If they don't pack my bags or kill this Ezreal, we get to crack them with this and then Mystic Shot this off the Ezreal, which is nice.
I don't miss.
I honestly just like, I don't understand how anybody can watch the last couple of games we've been playing here and call Deathray not efficient removal. Deathray's been super efficient, especially that match we just played against the discard aggro deck. Deathray was absurd. Probably Spell Shield here is the best roll. Well, I mean, they knew Ezreal was going to hit them, so they killed him for that. Yeah, they're just trying to find Pack the Bags. They knew Ezreal's here and they couldn't stop him.
Be nothing left when I'm done.
Weekend weather. Welcome, welcome.
Energy core upgrade.
I think if they pass here, I take the pass. At this point, I played my Hex Core upgrade.
Lost a fair game. Or played one.
If I wail in response here, is it worth keeping an extra point on my Ezreal? It probably is, right? Although I guess their packs are already... Is wail even good, though? Like, 1 versus 2 is about the same on this because of they're at Pack the Bags anyways.
Human mind takes
Yeah, I kind of like grasping the Twisted Fate. Yeah, and then I think we open attacks next turn because this has tough. Maybe I don't attack in with this? Attacking's probably wrong. I'll open attack with this, though. That's true. These decks have been, a lot of these decks have been playing Vile Beast now. So if they have Vile Beast, this dies to Vile Beast.
Time, pal. It's not like I've got better things to do.
Although if I draw a card that targets, we can beat Vile Beast by double targeting their things.
Suppose you want in on this.
I suppose I should leave you be.
It's kind of annoying.
Let's get to it.
Another brilliant design.
Sounds dangerous. I'm in.
Opening on attacks here because they do have Pack-the-Bags currently. Vengeance. I mean, that seems like a decent exchange for us, right?
No way.
Especially with the second Ezreal in hand. We have killed 2 Twisted Fates.
Once I stamp papers, now faces, our goals are greater than any violence. Electroplating completed.
How do we feel about murdering this now? I think I'm into it. I have this rolled up to kill another Twisted Fate if it comes down. Technically, we killed 1 Twisted Fate and they killed 1 Twisted Fate. That's true. That's true. We are technically 1-1 in terms of ending Twisted Fate's life.
Doom's good.
Ingenious.
New materials, new improvements.
Dang it! Where's my spell shield?
Genius in action.
No, the Runeterra patch is next week, chat. Right? People were on vacation recently. I mean, all things considered here, we're in a pretty good spot, right? Like, this draws. Ezreal gives us a Mystic Shot to murder this. Yeah.
You started without me.
Okay.
Time to get rich.
I mean, I don't think that pack wasn't a blowout because I've been playing around it. I had the ability to play around pack this game, which was huge. Yes, if we can dodge a Ledros, we can dodge a ball. I think we have 25 cards left. The eye doesn't show you what happens here because this is putting it randomly into my deck.
One shot, all skill.
Hey, still just trying to dodge Ledros. Still just trying to dodge Ledros. I'm pretty sure we're playing Hexcore Foundry here. They just have so many more cards than we do. Man, that's scary though.
Deal me in. Hold it, partner.
I'll burn for what I've done.
Don't blink or you'll miss me.
Like a fish in water.
God, their draws have been absurd. I guess we gave them an extra one, but man. It's been a rough one. Sagas, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. I'm pretty sure Atrocity the Punsmith only does one. Yeah, Hexcore Foundry really does not seem good in this deck. It also didn't help that, like, our opponent had all their go-hards in the first three, like, they packed they were at pack their bags on turn 6, and we just didn't draw any of ours. Definitely didn't help. This card's not felt very good so far. I don't know that we really have other card draw that we can play. I guess I could just play Sumpworks. Sumpbot. Sump Treasure. That's true. Some of the go hard builds are not playing Legros, is accurate. We could play Poggers Day. We could play Poggers Day. Neither of these sound super exciting. Would like to find a ballistic bot to pair with some treasure. How do you keep yourself away from getting frustrated over getting unlucky in the game? Well, I mean, like, I asked myself the question, does this game really matter? Like, it kind of is what it is, right? I mean, somebody's got to win or lose every single game that you play.
There's nothing to fear.
Virian Blade, thanks for the follow.
Use a bite.
There's other games I win because I got fortunate. Hey, you just hop right back on in and get to play the next one. See if Ezreal's Mystic Shot plus this kills this. So even if they go to kill Ezreal here, I can play these two to murder her, which is nice. Salise, welcome. Good afternoon.
I'm in.
Something, as someone who like has a big background in, who's played a ton of Magic, for people that aren't familiar, in Magic the Gathering, the company that makes it, Wizards of the Coast, is really bad at balancing their game. And because they're bad at balancing Magic as a game, they hide all of the format data that they can hide and obfuscate what's actually good and bad and otherwise. And I always had this thought that, like, if they shared a bunch of data, I would be able to make data-informed arguments and people would be more reasonable. People would be more reasonable looking at data and being accepting of metrics-driven arguments. But Runeterra has taught me that is really not the case. The amount of data that we have is awesome in this game, and the number of people who are just like, nah, aggro's unplayable, in spite a bunch of aggro decks having really good win rates over large sample sizes in Plat, Diamond, and Masters. Like, the number of people who in Runeterra use their feelings to dictate what they're saying while rejecting. And I guess, looking at the rest of the world, I guess I shouldn't have expected card games to be different than all of the people that vote for Republicans. But like, you know, I had this glimmer of hope that maybe people who are game-minded would be more reasonable, but it's really not the case. Chewbacca, thanks for the follow, welcome. Yeah, I mostly just turn like, I watch a lot of Runeterra content, and like, the number one thing that makes me turn people off and change the channel is when they say something, I'm like, I don't think that's actually true based on the Mobalytics metrics, and I pull it up and sure as shit it's not. Do I want to deploy Niandroid before we attack here? I think so. There's a good chance Ezreal gets Vengeance this turn anyways.
Flee with 2 E's.
Hi, Matt. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Phelps, thank you and welcome. Longtime lurker, and I've loved your Runeterra content. I don't mean to be annoying, but I was watching your Frozen Mushrooms videos, and Sajani is pronounced Sajani. That's weird. That's exactly how I say it. I say Sajani.
I'm always up for a round or two.
But like, again, like, and this is exactly the elitist bullshit that I'm talking about. The data on Mobalytics utilizes the Masters ladder for part of its sample sizes, and like, the elitism is really not unique to Runeterra. So I get to play this, which is a created card, which augments this, which redirects gold card to here. So I get to kill this and then still attack with Ezreal here, which is great. But anyways, I'm in Masters and I'm in a different Masters. No, you're not. No, you're not. The amount of people who are good, I get that you're a good player if you made it to Masters, but you would be a better player if you could sit down and separate your anecdotal feelings. And this is something I've talked about before that people really don't get. There is a psychological bias against playing aggro decks in card games, and it's very simple to explain. When you are playing an aggro deck in a card game and you win a game, you tend to win very quickly because aggro decks win quickly. However, when you're playing an aggro deck and you lose, your losses tend to be longer and drawn out because you didn't win the game quickly. And mid-range decks and control decks have the inverse. Their losses are often quick and their wins tend to be long. So if you're 1-1 with an aggro deck, but you spent 5 minutes winning and 10 minutes losing, it feels worse than it is. And in the flip, if you're 1-1 with the mid-range or control deck, but you went 10 minutes winning and 5 minutes losing, it feels better than it was. And that's why it's so important to log what your results are, so you can take a step back and look at it regardless of how you felt during the set. And that's why data sources like Mobalytics that have such large sample sizes on them are great, because you can take that feelings out of the equation and just look at what actually happened. Elenos, thanks for the follow. For people that are new to the channel, by the way, we've got a bunch of followers today. Welcome. I have a master's degree in mathematics. I spent time teaching statistics, calculus, all sorts of different mathematical topics at the college level over the years. So like my educational background is in this type of stuff, and probability and statistics are honestly one of the topics that normal people struggle with the most because it's not super concrete to them if it's not a topic that they've worked with a lot. And the same types of things I see from card game players, even good card game players that don't have a good statistical foundation, is the same type of stuff I would hear repeated quite frequently in my classes that I taught for introductory stats classes. All right, is it worth keeping a second point of toughness on Ezreal? I guess it's technically a third point of toughness. We're going to murder this and he's going to level. What is it about aggro that makes people feel like it's brainless? It's because it wins games quickly. It is an ego-saving thing to call an aggro deck brainless because if the alternative to calling aggro brainless is admitting that you made a mistake and you could have built your deck better or mulliganed better or played better, and you either, if you write aggro off as being brainless, it's ego saving because you don't have to admit that you failed somehow and you came up short. Megatron and Ishnal and Amamir, thanks for the follows. I'm like, that's a very human response, right? Like, it feels bad to admit that I made a mistake. And sometimes, and the one thing I think card game players don't think about enough of the time is that sometimes your mistake or your loss happened before the game started. Like, you often lose a game during deck construction because the way you built your deck wasn't good enough. Not trying to write off, would you agree that aggro usually has less decision trees? No, I completely disagree with that. Actually, aggressive decks that are built well tend to have more decisions in their shorter games than mid-range and control decks because aggro decks have more cheap cards, and the real decisions you make during card games is how you sequence your permutations of cards that you have. Deciding which 1-drop and which 2-drop you play versus which single 3-drop you play is more permutations and more complexity. The games are shorter with aggro decks, but most good aggro decks in most games, not even just Runeterra, but Hearthstone and Magic too, all card games, they have more decisions in the early turns. Your mulligans are also more important with aggressive decks. Shelly Les and Galactic and Cody, welcome. Claptrap, thanks for hanging out. Welcome to the channel. For folks that are new, by the way, I stream full-time here. I do a ton of Runeterra content almost every single day of the week. Also have a couple of YouTube channels worth checking out as well if you're into pre-recorded content. I play 3 to 4 different constructed decks every single day when I'm here, and my highlights channel here takes a 20-minute video of some of the best decks that I played and posts a new one every day of the week. It's super fine to prefer playing mid-range or prefer playing control to playing aggro, but the aggro is brainless, aggro is no skill. Those types of things are very elitist and juvenile, and they're just wrong. They show a fundamental lack of understanding of how card games work and what makes you good or bad at card games. Those comments come from players who their only skill set is playing mid-range and control, and because they can't comprehend the decisions in aggro, that means there aren't decisions. Yeah, and I think that's honestly a thing that enough people don't talk about a lot of the time is what players find easy or hard to play often varies depending on who's playing it. Like, certain players gravitate towards certain play patterns and find them easier to execute. And that's fine, but it doesn't make the ones that you find easier or harder strictly better or worse. Smudge and Zoom and Galactica, thanks for the follows. I might have missed a couple in there. There were a bunch. I appreciate everybody dropping in today. Someone asked me what do I think is good. While we were talking about that, someone asked me what I think Riot's going to announce on Friday. There could be a giant range of what they're going to announce on Friday. It could be more esports stuff. I believe Friday is announcing League of Legends start of their season esports stuff, so we could see some of that for Runeterra. It could also just be spoilers for the next upcoming set, because the next set is going to include a 9th region, so that's kind of a big deal for Runeterra. Scavelin, welcome. Do I want to sump this Aftershock? I feel like I don't. I feel like I might want to play this Aftershock. Killing their board feels valuable here. I could see Funsmith being a cut in this deck, Kev. I think if we want more card advantage, and I think we might, Pogger's Day sounds like a good idea, and Funsmith has been pretty mediocre so far. Been pretty underwhelmed by it. I do feel like 1 to 2 Progress Day at the top end of my curve sounds super reasonable. By the way, Blevins, I skimmed your message. I appreciate the compliment. Yeah, I actually agree with that, Zazib. I think mid-range and control decks in Runeterra have a little bit more nuance to them than on average I saw in Magic. But in general, I think the aggro decks coming from a Magic background had some of the most decision making involved. I'd be inclined to agree with that. All right, I think we're looting Viktor here and hoping to find spells that kill them. I mean, I guess that kind of counts. So this draw means that Mystic Shot is lethal next turn. I think there's a deal 3 on top of my deck, though. I think we have a what's it called coming up, a claw. Yeah, I Death Ray Mach 2'd. I think there's a deal 3 on top of my deck. We're also not guaranteed dead on board. We're dead to a Stiff Breeze. They've got a lot of cards in hand. But we're not dead on board here, at least. Yeah, there's the Death Ray. I agree that Atrocity, which was one of the original build-arounds for this, is also overwhelming. Alright, and leveled Gangplank a bit. Hey, I'm a meaner. Thank you for, I'm sure I just butchered that username. Thank you for the Prime support at any rate. There's a lot of great people you can ship that to every single month here on Twitch. Thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month and keeping me employed. All right, so Funsmith has not been particularly fun. I agree that Atrocity's been kind of mediocre. I want some Progress Day at the top end. That leaves me 2 slots. What issues have we been having and how can we try and sort them out? What are other things that might fit in here? This is permission for you to shout random cards without justification. What might be good? Cedrist, thank you for the 8 months. I appreciate that. Glimpse could be great. Do I have enough units for Glimpse? I feel like my unit count's too low for Glimpse. I do like the idea of drawing cards. More Questing Beast. I like the idea of more card draw, but I don't like the idea of Glimpse because of my unit count. Hey, Rodini, thank you for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. Oh, horror could be good. Yeah, I like the idea of horror. Someone had mentioned that earlier. This is a little bit of reach, it's a little bit of life gain, and the created Nightfall cards technically trigger Sunpork's map. I like the, or technically trigger Sunpork, what's I say map? Trigger Augment. That's fun. I like that suggestion. Alright, let's play. We've been on this one for an hour, so let's play another game 2 or 3 and see how this goes. Yeah, another piece of top end like Ledros could possibly be okay too. I like the idea of Unspeakable Horror though. Let's try that one out to start. Yeah, and if horror makes us bad cards, we could technically like rummage them away or some treasure through them. Afternoon silence. It could have also been right. I'm only on 2 Aftershock. I'm gonna full mulligan for Aftershock because a lot of these builds of Lucy and Hecarim are just embarrassing without their Plaza. So taking the full mulligan towards having the best chance to answer Plaza feels good. Opponent is attacking on odds here. I think Passage Unearned is currently at the worst it's ever been in the format. In my opinion. Mistwraith in Lucy and Heck is interesting. Could I explain the rules to card suggestions? Yeah, basically, there are 3 questions I would like you to normally answer when you're recommending a card for us to play on stream. And those are the questions. Why should we add that card? What problem do we have that card addition solves, and what should it replace? Those, in my opinion, are the 3 questions you should be asking yourself at home as well when you're trying to build and optimize a deck. There's always lots of cards that fit into any given Runeterra deck that you're working on, and focusing on answering those questions is important. So you want to know what I did? I mean, you hit on what you did was wrong, Luigi. Like, posting unfounded bullshit in my chat gets you a 10-minute break. It's not a big deal. A timeout's not a bad chat. A timeout doesn't mean that I'm mad at you. It just means I'm disappointed because I know you could do better than what you did. I know rather than spewing nonsense BS, you could take a second and look it up and make an informed comment. Look at that. Go hard, trigger augment. Delicious. I don't know that we're actually death raying here. I've got Static Shock rolled up for this. I think I'm just going to take the pass. I feel like, especially with the Aftershock, this matchup probably favors us going long, but that could not be true. I haven't played this before. On the surface level. Nice card. The card rec questions are what you should be asking yourself for deck building and optimizing, in my opinion. My Ezreal's only at 3 of 6, so even though I could do a point to their dome here, I think I'd rather level Ezreal. There's a reason why I didn't attack there, because I wanted to give them a chance to play things. Oh, I guess my attack is free. Yeah, you're right. I should have attacked there. Do you recommend building and iterating to play better, or to start with odd meta decks and learn that way? I think you should always start with established decks. You should always, if you have to ask the question, how do I improve? You should always start with established decks. Look at that, JD gets it. They're new here, but they understand the memes. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and murder this now in case they have another one of these to try and bring it back and get a thing next turn. I want to use my mana here rather than burning it. Gaining a little bit of life back sounds great. I mean, yeah, you got a Wraith Caller that doesn't do anything. Oh, I got you, Silaris. I aim to please. Angry Deming, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Let's just draw Mystic Shot off of this like a professional. Oh, I forgot we had that one. Am I even supposed to play that? It's been so long since I've played Pack Your Bags, chat. Man, I kind of feel bad playing this card. People do this all the time. How do y'all do this to people every day? It's just rude. I think we just give him the K-pop. Well, you see, I'm a monster. We don't get the augment. That wasn't a created one.
Don't get in my way. This is mercy.
Two progress days is a progress weekend, chat.
I've licked my wounds too long.
Should every PNZ deck play Poggers Day? Every aggressively slanted PNZ deck, or every mid-range to controlling deck should probably be playing Progress Day.
Check me out. Time for a true display of skill.
Grasp it firmly, chat. I didn't think about how augment triggered off the created go hards. There's some way to tell which created copies. Yeah, if you right click on the card, it'll show you which ones are created and which ones aren't. Maybe I should play this there so I get the ignition next turn. DFAP, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel.
Flesh was weak, but look at me now.
Look at me now. Do I create all the decks that I play on stream? I do not. In fact, a lot of the decks that we play on stream are viewer submissions. And if you would like to support my content and submit a deck, you can do so by following the directions there.
Safety disengaged.
You can also see upcoming decks that are going to be played on stream in the stream queue on my website.
I am superior life force.
You can see someone asked, can you tell this says created that Go Hard created this card? So that tells us that it's been made.
System upgrade. Can you improve perfection?
Yeah, Harrowing is almost assuredly a card they're playing.
To the gun show.
So you're gonna want to try and kill them this turn if we can, I think. Yeah, this one should be a wrap here. I actually think Unearned is quite a bit worse right now than it has been in the past. I think when the Fearsome aggro deck that was top-ending Harrowing was the best aggro deck in the format, it was a pretty reasonable choice. But with Fearsome's kind of falling off the top aggro deck slot, it becomes a little bit worse. I agree that it's still good against Field of Rush, but I think there's a lot of decks where it just doesn't have a lot of text. I actually think if you wanted to play Passage Unearned, it could be okay in a deck like this where we have draw discard. Just came by to remind you that Magic is still ridiculous and Modern is still unplayable. I mean, yeah, Uro is still legal in a bunch of formats, right? I follow some Magic people on Twitter still, and it's really funny to me how there's still just people bitching about Uro and Muxus in Historic, just like some things never change. Wizards never manages their format. It's kind of funny how waiting for the Go Hard nerf to hit like another week or another couple weeks from now is like feels like an eternity, but like compared to the 15 months it took Wizards to ban Teferi Time Raveler, it's just like so quick. Become spoiled in my 6 months. They're nerfing. Oh, they're almost assuredly nerfing Go Hard. Go Hard Twisted Fate is above both their play rate and win rate thresholds at this point, I believe. 15% and 55% win rate are the metrics that they nerf off of. Yes, 15 months. Wizards of the Coast does not manage their Magic the Gathering game almost at all, and it's a big part of why I stopped playing. Some Treacher is great in this matchup. They have a lot of chunky units I want to block early, but I think I want to mulligan the rest of these, looking for a Ballistic Bot to pair with this to get value out of its discard draw. AGH. Magic sadly doesn't have the luxury to edit cards in the flight. Yeah, but like, stop it. Take a time out. Don't simp for WotC. I shouldn't use that word. Don't shill for WotC. It didn't, you're right, they can't edit the cards, but like, they also can ban the cards, and it didn't need to take them 15 months to ban their problems. Like, whenever people are like, well, they can't just edit cards, yeah, but they don't use the tools that they have efficiently. And then past that, because Wizards of the Coast, their entire economy is built around fleecing their gambling-addicted players with loot boxes, they also constantly push their power level and power creep their game, so that way they can get people to buy more and more loot boxes. So, like, their problems that they have, has Uro been banned? Uro is banned in Standard, it's still legal in every other format.
Perfection.
Leave nothing standing.
Pitiful.
That's fine. There's 100 different ways they could nerf or balance adjust Go Hard, and I'm sure they'll do one of them.
Don't blink or you'll miss me.
Loot boxes as a card acquisition manner are nonsense. They exist only to prey on people. Wow, no block there kind of sprays me. All of the data is public. Was it 55%? What's the metric? Here's a screenshot that Cosmic puts together every week. Unspeakable looks kind of bad. Actually, Whale looks awful at this point, right? Let's play this and discard it.
These old eyes still see far and clear.
How do I eat my oatmeal? Maple and brown sugar.
Hot on the trail.
Do I want to Unspeakable Horror this, or do I want to take the hit and play Ballistic Bot? I kind of want to take the hit and play Ballistic Bot so I can sump Treasure the card next turn.
One-size that papers, now faces.
I usually water.
Safety disengaged.
Paula, thank you for the 33 months. It's a really long time. Welcome back.
United, nothing can stop us.
Nothing can stop us. It's actually a pretty scary one.
Light the signal fires.
Am I supposed to offer this trade? I feel like I'm not. Their big units feel like they're just gonna kind of overbear us at this point. I'm still a little bit off of packing their bags. Could really use a rummage, honestly, to kind of filter through our crap. We got a lot of cards that are kind of mediocre. So, it's important to understand, based on how Riot has balanced their game in the past, that it isn't just play rate and win rate metrics that they adjust based on. There's other factors, such as how the game feels to play as well. But they basically said, if a deck is over 15% and 55 or more percent win rate, that assures that it's going to get a change. They didn't, but Go Hard broke the 15% play rate metric, which is their threshold. Hey, Dr. Korvac, thanks for the 13 months. Here's hoping 2021 is great for everyone. How would I rebalance Go Hard? I'd just make pack your bags cost 4 or 5. I think we're dead shit. I can murder my way through these, but their leftovers are real good. Rock, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, there won't be a Runeterra patch till next week, chat. We're just talking about possibilities. You've not missed anything. You did not miss an announcement. I think something that could be a sweet redesign to pack the bags is, and this would be my number 2, past just making it cost more. I think I would like to see, I could see pack your bags having it deal damage equal to the number of Go Hards you've played that game, because that's not technically a strict nerf. It's kind of a redesign change. So like the first pack would deal 3, then 6, then 9. So it like kind of builds up as like a pressure type thing over the course of the game. Yeah, you could get rid of the face damage too. I think would be a fine option. Making it the damage scale, I think would be sweet too. Yeah, it would make aggro decks with chunkier units a lot better, right? I think you could just leave the cost the same and then make it do 3, 6, 9, etc. Scale up. I'm a big fan of changes like that in general, where they don't just like strictly nerf a card, but they just make it different. I think we've died to this Tryndamere, chat.
Best 2 out of 3?
Yeah, Ezreal is a great example of his changes different but still good, right? Like they didn't make him worse, he's just different. They made him easier to level, but they changed how it does here, right? Yeah, I love speaking of Ezreal, I love where his design has ended up in general. They took him from this very narrow seas play in this combo deck to being flexible in a variety of places. I agree. I feel like Ezreal, if you look at the iterations Ezreal went through from start to where he's at now, where I think he's very, very great, is a good example of the iteration to get it right. As far as this deck goes, I don't know. I feel like these P and Z decks that lean into all this damage-based removal just end up feeling bad a lot of the time, because you just end up in a lot of games like that last one where your answers just don't line up well into what they're playing. I feel like where I ended at here kind of just felt like a worse version of the Go Ezreal deck that's up on my website, and that build is notably playing things like Vengeance, and sometimes you can play Ruination in there to have bigger targeted removal, as opposed to things like this that don't scale as your opponent plays 5/5s and 7/6s and stuff like that. And at the core, not having things like Salvage and trying to lean on things like Rummage and Progress Day kind of just make you a worse Go Hard deck in terms of the Twisted Fate Go Hard deck. So overall, this one felt like a bit of a miss to me. The atrocities in general just felt kind of clunky. I didn't really have meaningful ways to protect my augment units as they got big, which meant we were frequently just drawing atrocities without things on board that were worth flinging. So I felt like overall, this wasn't a very successful build round, and like what we were looking to do didn't really feel like it worked all that well. And I think if I wanted to experiment with Viktor more, the thing I would want to try and play with is the Sump Snipe Scavenger. I think this card giving you maps to make your things elusive while also being a proactive card seems potentially very good. And I think if I was looking to play Viktor with more closing power, something like this is what I'd be interested in trying. All right, at any rate, we're going to be done with this deck, but we're not done with Runeterra for the day. Don't go anywhere. Kenji, welcome to the channel. We're going to be playing some Ezreal Zoe up next here. Just going to make sure this one's up on my Mobalytics page, and then we'll be good to go. If you're new to the channel, thanks for dropping in today like Benji. I stream full-time here. I do primarily Runeterra content. It's about 2/3 to 3/4 of what I stream. I also do some single-player story-driven stuff. We're working through the Witcher 3 playthrough right now. Recently finished up the Final Fantasy